So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. All right, Rockstar Nation, got a great guest coming from Scottsdale, Arizona. Mr. Kelly Cook is here, and he is making some waves out there in Scottsdale and surrounding areas, and I can't wait to get down to the nitty-gritty with Kelly. So, Kelly, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Hey, thanks, Pat. Appreciate it. Always a big fan, man. Glad to be on the show finally.
Yeah, welcome. Hey, listen, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you better?
Yeah, just kind of, I grew up from Omaha, Nebraska originally. I'm out here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Been doing this almost 13 years, and just a lot of hard work. You know, I played football at the University of Nebraska. I had the good fortune to coach as well at Nebraska and at Ole Miss down in the south there. And you know, you work a ton of hours. I mean, it's nonstop grind, and you do everything from sales. You got to be a salesman. You got to be a recruiter. You know, all this stuff. So learned a lot doing that, and that's the background. You know, came from a family that was, you know, a little unorthodox, you know, was broken, whatever, and all that, you know, good stuff that a lot of people come from. But
sure,
just yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, and then how long you been in business, real estate wise?
Yeah, almost 13 years. It started. I got in when everybody was getting in. You know, back in 2005 and
2005. Okay.
Yep.
So you've seen a cycle, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think about that a lot. I mean, I interview a lot of people on the show that's never seen a cycle, you know, and usually the result of that is they don't save money, right? Like as they make it as much because they think that nothing will change forever. So It's always good to talk to people that have seen cycles because they're smarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, yeah, exactly. I purchased some properties back in the last downturn, and you know, I'm kicking myself why I didn't purchase, you know, 10 times that, 20 times that. I mean, it's just stupid.
You and me both, yeah. You and me both, you know what I mean? Or one house a year. You know, if I think back, if I just bought one house a year for the last 30 years, I mean, they average, right? It's kind of like the stock market too, dollar cost averaging. We really should be dollar cost averaging with rental properties, you know?
Absolutely. No, I think I've heard you have a portfolio as well, Pat. I do also. And you're right. I mean, I read a book a long time ago, Robert G. Allen. I think it's called Creating Wealth, maybe. But anyways, that was the strategy. He's like, you buy one house, or maybe it's even 2 a year. And then you know, after 10 years, you basically pay off the first 10. And then you have 10 free and clear homes for, you know, worth $100,000 each for $1 million. Now you're a millionaire. You know, it's something strategy, very simplistic, but yeah, it's the tortoise, you know, versus the hare approach.
Yeah. You know, and I had that same philosophy. And I did that. I paid off all my rentals. But then as opportunities arose, you know, I got a $1 million loan on them all just to invest in more stuff. You know what I mean? So it's hard to do. It's hard to like, you know, do something and then not have leverage anymore. It sounds great in principle, but until you get there, then you're like, all right, this is good, but this deal just came across my desk, you know, and so
squirrel. Yeah.
Exactly. But all right, cool. So, well, let's get to that now. Get down to the nitty gritty on your business. So, like, what's your ECI, Kelly? Your ego commission income?
Love that. Yeah, I first heard you say that a long time ago, and I love that. So, yeah, no, last year, 2017, it was 1.68.
Okay, so about 1.2, and then what is your profit margin on that?
That's about 27% last year.
Okay, so you know, 300 grand.
Yeah, we're at 1.6, almost 1.7 on the full. So I think it was closer to like 450.
Oh, you're 1.7. I thought you said 1.2.
No, I'm sorry. We had 1.68 to be exact.
Oh, you did say that. Okay, so 1.7. So 30% of 1.7. Yeah, so you're more like 450.
Yeah,
almost $500,000. Yeah, which is great, which is awesome, dude. All right, so how many houses is that?
It was 163 for us. Average price point 386 last year, right around 386.
386. Good price
Yep.
point. And so buyers or sellers, do you know the breakdown there percentage wise?
Yeah, for the first time in my almost 13 years, we were actually more buyers than listings. Usually we're about 60-40 on that. Last year we ended up being about 55-45. Buyers were heavier. The inventory is a little tight down here in Phoenix. A lot of great, strong agents. It's tough competition, and so yeah, we went to the buyer side, not kind of by default to some degree.
So what'd you say? What percentage buyers would you say?
Yeah, about 55 buyers last year.
And
Yep.
and that's interesting though, because I haven't heard somebody give that as a reason why. And what's happening in Phoenix is not happening across the country. I don't know if it's an indicator of what's coming, but for a lot of these markets. But you guys have had an unusually high amount of discount brokers that have actually succeeded, and a lot of places. You hear a lot of agents that come on my show and they'll say, oh, they come and go, they never last, and they seem to be lasting and prospering. Can you touch on that, why that's happening in Phoenix and nowhere else, or not a lot of other areas? And you think you're going to start seeing it more and more?
Good question, Pat. I think there's a couple of different reasons. Number one, I think, in Phoenix, we don't have a lot of corporate America, right? I think we have like 2, maybe 3 Fortune 500 companies in the state. So it's a very service-oriented metropolitan area. So a lot of small businesses and things of that nature. And we have over 40,000 licensed real estate agents in Maricopa County, which is the greater Phoenix area and suburbs. So you just have a lot of part-timers. At the end of the day, it gets back, you heard of the 80-20 rule. It's more like probably 96-4, where again, you have a small percentage of people doing a vast majority of the business. And so you have these discount brokerages that, if they're making, I talk to guys who own that kind of model from time to time. And if you only have 100 or 200, even 300 or so agents, you aren't very profitable at all. You're not making much. But yeah, some of these guys have now grown to 500, 1,000 agents or more, and that can be profitable, certainly. But yeah, they stuck around because I think you have a lot of part-time / hobbyist agents in here in this town.
Well, that's interesting. And I guess some of it, there's less relocation, right? If you don't have a lot of corporations, right?
Yep.
So you lose that stick in the market.
Right.
And just the part-time agents, whatever. Maybe it's just a part-time because it's so warm and because it's kind of a destination, a retirement destination, that it drives people there that do want to play golf, and do want to, work one day, take one day off. There's nothing wrong with that. But so you have more agents that are doing 10 deals a year and happy to do that.
Yep. That's it.
And they don't want to go to classes. They don't want to go to a training. They don't want to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. And they just want to pay $500 a transaction fee or whatever, and then keep the rest.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we have a heck of a time. It's tough when we're talking about recruiting. We have to find the right culture fit for our team, as with any team for that matter. And one of the first questions we ask you are, will you allow me to treat you as a full-time employee for the next year?
Good one. What else do you ask them? I love that question.
Yeah, number one, do you want real estate to be a career? And that's a big one. And people can kind of dance around that. But when you start getting a little deeper and we start talking about our path to success plan that we have to get an agent onboarded and then into production, then you start figuring out really quick if they're going to be a career type agent, or they're just saying that because they're just okay doing a couple deals, every 6 months or so.
Wow. So let's talk. I mean, that's a good segue. Let's talk about the accountability you guys use, right? So tell me about that. Tell me everything and anything about accountability on your team. What works, what doesn't. So people out there listening could say, I'm going to put Kelly's practices in play at my office or my team.
Okay, absolutely. So nitty gritty. So we have, we have a 30, 60, 90 program, and some of this has come from Keller Williams. Keller Williams has fantastic training, right? So we obviously jump on that and kind of modify it to our own flavor or style. But they come on the team, they have actionable items they have to hit. Okay, so first they have to suit up and show up at 8:30 every single day. Monday through Thursday, we have a kickoff meeting and we do some other things within that meeting. that goes from 8:30 to 9:15. 9:15 to 9:30 is a 15-minute window break to get ready to all hunt together. So then 9:30, we have a little clock that goes off, and we say, okay, here we go. We all jump on the dialer. We use Mojo, and we start hunting together all outbound for that first hour. Now, we only require 1 hour outbound per day, but we do require 2 hours of lead generation. So that second hour can be lead follow-up or calling your sphere of influence, that sort of phone call. But we do require them to be there effectively from 8:30 to 11:30 every morning, Monday through Thursday. And if they hit that 8 hours of lead generation from Monday through Thursday, they have earned Friday as what we call flex day. So they can then choose to work from home. They can choose to go to Starbucks and lead generate, or they can just take it off if they're ahead of their goal. That's fine too. And then with that, we also require one open house a week. We require that 8 hours lead generation. And then the third metric on a weekly basis we require is an appointment to be held, not set, but held. Because at the end of the day, our requirement, what we're really trying to shoot for, is that our agents are into production and they are closing 24 deals a year as a minimum standard. So we say, okay, look, we're on the math on all these 7 different conversion metrics, from contacts to income and all those in between. But at the end of the day, if you go from appointments held to closings, there's only one metric in between there, which is called conversions, so all listings taken. If you have an effective conversion rate of 50% from held to closed, which is very easy to do,
right?
That's 40. We base this whole thing on 48 work weeks of the year. So you get 4 weeks for vacation, being sick, whatever may come up in life. And then if you have 48 appointments held, you're at 50%, you're going to close 24 deals for the year.
Yeah, that's it. 2 deals a month at $380 each. That's a million, close to $1 million a month. So it's 12 million, or let's say $10 million agent. So I like that. I mean, that's right. You reduce it to the ridiculous like that, and it forces them to think, okay, well, if I missed my appointment, and it doesn't seem much, people might be thinking, oh, 1 appointment a week, that's easy. Yeah. But you're talking about a real appointment that you're anticipating closing 50% of the ones you go on. I mean, do you qualify? Is there a way to qualify appointment?
Well, it's a good question. So obviously it has to be face-to-face, belly-to-belly, and it has to be a buyer consultation or a listing presentation of some sort, or maybe obviously doing the same thing with an investor. And it has to be only counted once, right? So if you meet somebody for a buyer consult, they agree to work with you, and then you show them homes, 6 times, that's not 6 appointments. That's 1.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox, and it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
And so, and the good thing is,
right, it doesn't count the second. You can't have the same appointment. Like if you're showing the Smith family homes and you show them on Tuesday every week, it doesn't count as your weekly appointment. It only counts the first time, right?
That's it. That's exactly right.
A new appointment.
A new appointment. A new appointment has to be held. And the cool thing is we make them roll over. I tell you what, Pat, when we rolled this out to our team, there were some eyeballs like, oh boy, 1 appointment, I got to hold 1 appointment every single week. They don't realize that's easy, 48 a year. That's easy to do. That's easy to do. And they roll over. So if you have a good week, you hold 3 appointments. The next week, not so good. You don't hold any appointments. You're still good because you bank those extra ones and they roll over for the entire year. And so our administrative assistant, she tracks this stuff. We have accountability metrics around that. So we have an email that goes out to the team Thursday evening to see who didn't make the 8 hours of lead generation and need to come back in the office for Friday. And one on Sunday night that goes out saying who hit what for the week and if they will go into what we call a 30-day reset program to get back on track, back to even.
Well, so like the Mojo tracks, right? Like who they're calling and how long they're calling. So clearly, if someone's only calling 7 hours a week, it's going to show up, and you have a paid employee that's doing this. So there's no, I'll give them an A, even though they deserve the B, right? It's like, hey, she only did 6.5 hours. She failed, right?
Yeah, I don't want to be the bad guy. I'll let the systems, the standards, be the bad guy.
Right. No, I love it. And then, so let's talk about how you pay them quarterly and the compensation and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think a lot of people out there, I'm always curious, Pat, when I listen to your podcast and you have some really talented people on here, I'm always curious sometimes, how do they pay certain things they do? How do they pay their people, agents, assistants, ISAs, all that stuff? That's intriguing to me because I think it's a big part of being able to attract talent and retain them. So I was struggling with that, trying to figure out something different, something that was kind of cutting edge in terms of how to pay sales agents. So what I came up with was basing all of it, the whole comp plan, around 90-day increments, a quarter, 4 quarters in a year. I read a book. It may have been Gino Wickman. I don't know which one it was, but they basically said that the human brain can only stay motivated to achieve a certain goal for no longer than 90 days at a time. It just if you have a goal for a year and you don't chunk it down to at least a quarter, you don't say there's no motivation behind it. You just lose track. You lose.
I like that though. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So okay, so you set quarterly goals. So you're really setting, 8 a quarter. Like you got to sell your 8 houses this quarter. Talk to me about that. What do you do?
Yeah, really, we're only at 6. 2 a month. We're only at 6.
6. Yeah, that's what my math's bad.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm not good at math either, Pat. So okay. So what we do then is everyone starts. We have 3 different levels. Okay, we have bronze, silver, and gold, and it's just all based upon incentivized production. And then within bronze, silver, and gold, we have 3 different tiers that somebody can get a split on when they close a transaction. It's really simple. It just sounds like a lot. It really isn't. And here's why. Number 1, within those tiers, within each bronze, silver, and gold, you have team handoff. That's what we call. That means if anyone but you, the agent, converted the lead and gave it to you, like set an appointment, here you go, then that's a team handoff. We have what we call team opportunity, which is a team paid lead, let's say, like from Zillow or Google, whatever.
Yeah.
They convert it and they close it. That's a team opportunity, so they get a little more for that. And then on the third one is agent sphere of influence. So it's a little higher for that. So what we do is we start at 40-60 on the handoff. We start at 50-50 on the opportunity, and then 60 to the agent, 40 on the agent sphere of influence.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's where it starts at bronze. And then from there, it just goes up. So then effectively, it goes up 5%, let's say, per deal. And these are buyer closings. The listings are down, are all shifted down about 10% or so.
So across the board, 30, 40, 50 on listings. 30% if it's your neighbor or a friend of yours. 40% if they flip a Zillow lead or they flip an ad call. 50% if it's somebody they go to church with. So, right? So on listings. Okay.
Correct.
I like that too. But if they do more than one listing, or is it one deal, any deal? Or is it just
Yeah, good question. We base it all off of gross commission income. So the check that comes in before anybody cuts it up, anybody has a split, nothing, right? So total check. So and what we do is I base it on that because I want to know what they're doing. I made it fairly conservative. The average price point that we had last year, I said, was $386. I base this really on an average price point of 250 to make it, very achievable, and to insulate it that when the market shifts, I don't have to worry about restructuring anything.
So explain it a little better on the 5% bump and
Okay.
average sales price of 250. Roll through that.
Yeah, you bet. So agent starts at bronze, okay? And let's just keep it all on the buyer side and make it simple. So they start out and they close 6 transactions, which is our minimum. Yep, they're going to be just still right at bronze now because based on the average price point, 250. However, if they close the minimum standard of 6 transactions and they're at our average price point of 386, the GCI is higher. So then they would easily be in the silver level for the following quarter. So quarter 2 comes, they hit, say, 7 transactions. They're easily at the silver level because of the GCI. Then they're in silver level for the whole entire quarter 2. Now let's say they go on vacation for almost the whole second quarter, which would be crazy, but they do, and they only close they only close one deal. So they close one deal in the second quarter. Well, then quarter 3, they're going to drop back down to bronze. Now in bronze, let's say quarter 3, they crush it.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
They do 9 transactions in quarter 3 or 10. They crush it. They can bypass silver and go right to gold for quarter 4. Now the cool thing about that is, if they're at gold to quarter 4 because they did a great job, they crushed it. Come January 1st, like most other comp plans, it does not reset. So they stay. If they crush it again in quarter 4, they'll stay at gold going to quarter 1 the next year, and they can stay there effectively.
But it's a 5% increment for each house.
Yeah. So so you
really got to sell 2 above quota to get the full effect.
Yes,
right?
if you're at a very conservative price point, 250. If you stay at around our average price point, because it's based upon GCI.
Oh, I got you. Right.
Yep. That if you had a couple big
one deal.
Yeah, effectively, yes. Because at the end of the day, that's what affects our profit and loss statement at the end of the day. So that's why I tied it to that on purpose. So.
All right. And it still has to be over the quota, which is 2 a month.
Correct.
You can't just sell one $3 million house and be like, I'm taking the quarter off because I'm good.
Well, okay, hold on. In theory, you could, as long as by the end of the year, you have your 24.
By the end of the year, you have your 24. Okay.
Yep.
So you really can't. Yeah.
You really can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be really hustling the other quarters.
All right, cool. So what other exciting things are you doing? What about technology? What kind of technology and accountability systems are you using with your team and yourself?
Yeah, good question. So we use Boomtown as our CRM. That's a very Yep, use that. And we use for all of our number tracking reporting, we use CTE. You probably heard of that one.
ZTE? No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, yeah, it's called Commitment to Excellence, CTE. It's a very, very robust system that allows you to have any kind of scoreboard or dashboard that you almost could think of for tracking numbers and where agents are for number reporting, financials, all that stuff. So we have, again, 4 Ds of execution. Have a scoreboard, right? My coach told me a long time ago. He goes, hey, if you walked into the Arizona Cardinals versus Seattle Seahawks football game and you walked in midway through the second quarter, how long would it take you to figure out what the score is? 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes, is that the way your scoreboard is for keeping track of your agents' numbers in your office? Nope. So we customize a scoreboard where all numbers, agents have a single input on their phone that goes to a survey. It's all done through Excel online, all cloud-based. And the CT system it does this. And then it flows into a scoreboard. And we have multiple scoreboards in our office that let agents know if they're on track for the month for their lead measures and lag measures, both.
So tell me exactly, what does it track?
Okay, so we track the 7 main conversion or metrics, let's say.
7 everybody should be writing this down. The 7 conversion metrics.
Yep. So
Kelly's team. There you go.
Yep.
And you should add it to your team. Go ahead. What are the 7?
Okay, here we go. So number 1 is our contacts. Okay, contact is defined as anyone you speak to about real estate. They can hang up. Yep. They can hang up on you after you have a conversation about, hey, we just listed a house in your neighborhood. We'd like to see if anyone else looking to move in the neighborhood. No, I don't. Have you yourself thought about selling your property and take advantage of this awesome market right now we're in? No, I haven't. And they get mad and hang up. Right? That's a contact.
Okay.
The second one are what we call opportunities. And that is anybody that gives you permission to follow up in the future, and you can add them to your database because you have contact information. So again, that same script. Go ahead, Pat.
So anybody you have permission to follow up in the future, can it be just, I mean, but it has to be real estate related, right? I mean,
correct. Right. So let's go with that same script I was just talking about. You call it just listed script, right? And they say, no, I don't know anybody. No, I don't want to sell my house. So then we go into what we call our close, which is simply, when it comes to buying or selling real estate, who do you refer your business to?
Okay.
And they
when
say,
it comes to buying or selling real estate, who do you refer your business to? Yep.
Yep. And if they say, if it's anything but a hard yes, like they have, Susie Q with so-and-so brokerage, then we know they have somebody. Anything but that, then we go into the fact of what we're trying to do is now just get them as an opportunity. So then we go into something like this. Well, listen, I certainly don't expect to earn your business on this one simple phone call, yet I do provide a lot of value to my clients. And one way I do that is through a tool we have that's an interactive market snapshot. That way you can keep track of arguably your largest assets of value at any given time. It only comes out quarterly, so it's very, very non-invasive, and I would like to send it out to you. What's your best email address? And they say, sure.
Then that counts. Okay, and tell me about this snapshot. Who does that?
Yep.
Where do we find it? Yeah.
So it's kind of a play on words. It sounds cooler than it really is, but it's a very effective tool, and it comes straight from Boomtown. So it's the Boomtown Seller E-Alert. That's what it is.
Wow. Okay, great. And then it comes out quarterly. And then do you call them quarterly and say, hey, did you get the snapshot?
Yeah, we do. In fact, it goes out actually monthly, Pat. We say quarterly or monthly, try to make it really like, hey, we're not trying to bother you here, right?
Yeah, but no, I like that. Yeah, right. You don't want to be, because they won't read it. You know what I mean? And your house value doesn't change. It doesn't change that much every month,
Correct. Yep. So that they go into what we have a Boomtown ecosystem. That's what we call it. So we have a whole flow chart that is a very visual thing that every agent has on their desk. And what that type of lead, that opportunity would go into is what the qualified plan, what we call our 8x8 program. So that lead now will, even though they didn't want to buy or sell anytime soon, they still will get a touch from us 8 times over 8 weeks, or excuse me, 8 total times. So 1 time for 8 weeks. And then, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to basically buy their section of their brain, their mind share that thinks real estate. So when thinking real estate, they think of Kelly. Real estate, Kelly. And then we transition after 8 weeks them into a different category that then we keep in touch with them in perpetuity, trying to build that relationship and rapport.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Perpetuity. I love that word. So I visualize this, and I think it's cool because you could leave messages like, ooh, geez, I'm sure you probably saw your snapshot. There's a reason that happened, and if you want to call me back, I'm happy to go over it with you. And that's, of course, when you see what it went down by 2%, and then when it goes up, the value goes up by 2%. You could be like, man, did you see your snapshot? Wow, that's really cool. What's happening in your neighborhood? I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. Looks like you made a couple, you made 10 grand, without even working for it. So that's awesome. If you want to call me back to chat, call me,
Yep.
stuff
Absolutely.
like that. Right. And then you're like, oh, this dude's on top of the market. Right.
Yep. And it just hits you in your to-do bar, if you will, on your dashboard in Brooktown. And so you can just forget who Johnny Smith was, right? All of a sudden pops up, oh, Johnny Smith, read your notes. Oh, it's that guy. Okay. Then you call him up and he thinks you've been paying attention to him the whole time, which you can't do that obviously in our business because you have to sell a lot of houses on volume and it's impossible to do that with only, 10 or 15 people. So,
yeah. Wow. Brilliant. Okay. So that was number 2, right?
Yeah.
So what's the third thing you track? We're gonna stay on this because people are probably like, okay, I'm writing these down like you asked. All right. So what else?
Yeah. Yep. Number 3 is appointments set. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
Number 4.
Set. Done deal. Right. And it does not include, or it does include, a buyer that you take out every Tuesday. So do we count it every Tuesday, or is that only the first one?
Only the first one.
I love that. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Cool.
Appointments set. Cool. And the 4th one is appointments held.
Appointments held. Okay. Done.
Fifth ones are listings taken, and that's buyer and seller listings.
Okay.
The sixth one is our closings, and the 7th one is your income.
Oh, really?
Yep, your GCI.
The GCI.
Yep.
And it shows, the GCI shows right there. So like if I made 50 grand in the month of January, everyone's going to know.
Correct.
It's not going to show my net. It's just going to show the GCI.
Yep. And so it's great for business planning too, because someone comes to join our team, or if they're already on our team, every October 1st, that's our trigger point to start business planning for the next year. And we always start the question, by asking, okay, what would you like to make? What are you committed to make the following year or this next year? And they give us a number. Then we say, okay, here's what it's going to take. We would just simply reverse engineer based upon their own. They've already been on a team for like a year. They already have data on this. So we use their conversion metrics between every single one of those metrics, conversion rates, and we work backwards and say, okay, that means every day, 5 days a week, you need to be contacting 21 people or 16 people or whatever the number is. And so now on our scoreboard, we know that if you're not hitting that daily number and being consistent every single day to hit 16 people in terms of contacts, then don't expect the money to be there come December 31st for the year that you want to hit, that you want to make. Because it starts with lead measures. It starts with being consistent every single day. That's the magic pill. That's the magic pill.
That is the magic pill. And it's the same thing with any goals. And I tell this to people all the time, especially now we're into a new year. It's about looking at your goals every day, right? And essentially, and staying accountable to those goals every day. And so it's the same thing, right? That you're forcing them to be accountable because it's tracked right there on the big screen.
That's it.
What do you have, a giant TV there that shows it, or how are you showing it?
Yeah, we have a 70-inch, flat screen mounted on the wall, and everyone can see it because we have a 3,000 square foot office, and so in the back we have this open area concept, industrial feel, kind of like really works well for especially the younger agent. That industrial kind of like startup feel in the back, and we have flat screen TVs and that kind of stuff back there where they can see the scoreboard any given time.
Right, that's awesome. And that 3,000 square feet, that's all your space?
It is. Yep, just for our team. Correct.
Oh, okay. Now, are you an independent company?
No, we're under the umbrella of Keller Williams.
Okay. But you just have but you have your own team office.
We do. They allow certain agents at certain production levels to take the license, and move off out of the main, office and have their own space if they so choose. So that's what we did.
That's awesome. And Kelly, I was going to ask you one thing. In your bio, you talked about your 29.8% NIBT. What's NIBT?
Net income before taxes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've heard EBITDA,
Yeah.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, appreciation. But that's great. And I was looking at that. It's like, okay.
That's in my dictionary, Pat. Only sorry about that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Kelly, listen, as you know, everybody that comes on the show brings with them a gift or two, like Santa Claus, for our Rockstar Nation to use in their business on a regular basis. And what would you like to give to our listeners today?
Okay, so our biggest source of revenue and closings, as most agents are, probably are past clients and sphere of influence, our database.
Yes.
So what we do is, I heard Michael Mayer, who's brilliant, talk about this at one of his workshops a few years ago, back when I went and attended. And we have a 52-week database marketing calendar that I'll upload and give your toolbox there, Pat, that literally has an action item for your entire year, for every single week that exists in that year, of what you're going to do to help market to your database. We have 3 client appreciation events on there. We have other little things like in January we mail out HUDs to all of our past closings for the year before, or I should say settlement statements now, closing statements, as well as the orphan clients as well. So we do it to both people for every single deal we close the year before January 31st. So they can have that for tax purposes. We do Mother's Day cards. Nice. We do things like that. We also built in that calendar, actually, to be honest with you, selfishly, some team events too, so that we're intentional about having a team happy hour, and that sort of thing, so we can have some team building and camaraderie and culture, help our culture and that sort of thing too. So it's a pretty cool, put some thought into it, a lot of thought actually, and it's a system. And we have a marketing coordinator on our team, and she just executes that. She knows every week what she's working on. So.
No, I love that. That's great. And I think that'll be really helpful because and no one has donated something like that before. So it's certainly a new addition to the toolbox, guys. So listen, here's how you can get it. First of all, you just go to hibandigital.com/Kelly Cook, and that's Kelly and Cook, COOK. hibandigital.com/Kelly Cook. But on there will also be all of Kelly's contact information. If you want to send him an email, send him a tweet, tell him thank you for coming on. It'll be there. Send him a referral of someone that's buying or selling in the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona area. All his info are on there as well. And or you can get it from the toolbox itself, where you'll find it and many other free gifts that each guest has brought. That can be found by texting toolbox to 444-999 or simply going to hibandigital.com/toolbox. Kelly, listen, buddy, next time I'm in Phoenix, Scottsdale, wherever, I will definitely look you up and we'll get together and break some bread.
That'd be great, Pat. Love to do that.
Thank you for watching Real Estate Rockstars. Please give us a review wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening. We eat feedback for breakfast, and I don't care whether you give me a 1-star review or a 5-star review. I just want the review. I want to know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Would love to improve things. Hey, and listen, please subscribe. The more subscribers we get and the more reviews we get, the better guests we'll get for you in the future. Feel free to reach out to me anywhere on social media. Just type in my name. I'm everywhere, and I look forward to meeting you in the digital world. Have a great day, and thanks again for listening to Real Estate Rockstars.